Hey Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Hey Steve, thanks for having me again.
Good to have you. We are talking about smart cities. It's pretty good because they've been pretty dumb so far. It's
You
good that
beat
they're
me to the
getting smarter.
punchline. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, so we're talking about Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, using big data to integrate urban living. The big ones are like in countries like China and Saudi Arabia, where they're really looking at building from the ground up some major projects. Also, in Japan, Toyota, the Woven City, is an example of this, but designing, managing value, really integrating from the ground up with data-driven approaches to have high connectivity cities. Here, it's maybe not quite so ambitious, but we're definitely seeing an impact on some developers and some builders in terms of, how they're building with Internet of Things enabled devices. What are kind of some of your thoughts on how real estate's going tech?
Look, I think to some degree it's warranted, and as an example, I guess the best way I think to put it is talking about hurricanes, right? Which is something we probably will touch on at some point anyway. But hurricanes from the side of the utility grids, et cetera. Now it's gotten to the point where, with utility companies, because they started using technology, they can pinpoint specifically where, they're having a loss of power instead of trying to, go out and send hundreds, if not thousands of people into a community to try to figure out exactly where the problem is. I can see it working from the side of maintenance, some of the other things, but to me, it sounds like, I mean, we're talking about China and some of these other places, and I hate to be his guy, but sounds like another way that that the Chinese government's going to be able to just control their people with some other form of oppression.
Well, come on, you think a totalitarian regime is going to be totalitarian? I don't know. Seems like a stretch. Um, yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. Is you've got some of these major projects that are kind of a mix of utopian and dystopian kind of dreams. But in the U.S., this is a real thing, but maybe you think a little bit smaller. You think about being able to better manage energy efficiency in your buildings. You think in the rental market, on the high end, being able to offer, higher end connectivity, smart homes where you can kind of control things from your car, um, control your entertainment centers, listen to your music from different rooms and stuff is definitely
Yeah.
being like a future in higher end rentals. So I think, for parts of this market in the US, it's maybe not as big as a thinking city that's monitoring your every move to make life better and also to keep tabs on you. But in the US, it's maybe more about just adding in some more amenities, in
Convenience.
convenience, right? So, I think that's a different thing that we're seeing here. And if you're not looking at this high-end market, you might not be differentiating yourself appropriately.
Well, look, I mean, the reality of this is that it's all being monitored somewhere, and from to a large degree, you, you mentioned utopian or dystopian. I mean, just to some degree, if you think about it, all of these things, good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't really matter what you think, are replacing people that are actually doing jobs. I think this becomes kind of a different conversation as the tech evolves. Do I think it will, at some point, AI for that matter, at some point take over the human population per se? I don't know. That's not for me to decide, or that, I don't have a crystal ball, but I definitely think that some of this tech could be taking away jobs that people desperately need. So, and then the other side of it is, if, back to the monitoring side, it's being monitored by something somewhere where it's being collected. It's data that's being collected into data centers and other places and then being sold, for their, that data's usefulness. So, like it or not, you got big government, or little government, or somebody in general that's getting into your home, and you may not have a choice.
Yeah, and I think it's again pretty easy to kind of maybe exaggerate or overblow the impact on the US real estate market.
Of course.
At the same time, it's pretty crazy some of these urban developments overseas that are getting planned. And I think, especially when you look at governments that want to keep a tab on everybody,
Yeah,
It's interesting technology. But for us, developing in the US, I think it just becomes one other feature set you look at, or when you're looking at your energy conservation and on construction of a building, it's something else you kind
sure.
of run through the numbers. But I think it's more of a in the US going to be incremental
Yeah.
change.
Well, I mean, it might be. I think it'll get to a point where it won't be just incremental. Then it'll just be fall off a cliff and it'll be in your face. And when I say that, I didn't mean it to be conspiratorial. I think people fail to recognize that there's data points that are being collected from, on us all over the place. And when you hear about companies that have these data breaches, well, that's where people get all of your information from. And like it or not, that, we expose ourselves in so many different ways and then can't figure out why our data is all over the all over the dark net.
Okay, well, we will be keeping an eye on how utopian or dystopian the tech gets and its impact in real estate. Thanks for your insights, Jeff. If you enjoyed the
Steve.
video, give us a thumbs up. Let us know what we got wrong, what we're missing here in the comments section. Give us a like and visit our website, selectfincap.com. Register for our weekly newsletter and to get a look at upcoming exclusive commercial real estate investment opportunities. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.